That thumbnail has to piss someone off. Let's kick it. I'm Dr. Hans, this is Dr. Hans Brewery, my channel about beer and homebrewing. This is the third part in the brewing mistakes. In the first two videos, I talked about some mistakes I've made. If you haven't watched them already, go and watch them after this. I will link to those videos down below. In those videos, you guys commented with a lot of your mistakes, and I picked 5 of those comments. We're gonna look at them and see if we can learn from your mistakes, as well as you can learn from my mistakes, because I made a lot of brewing mistakes. So, let's just get started. Brewing mistakes number 1. Don't pick at my pin code. I've said that so many times before. Find the first one here, 81 DT. For whatever reasons, I put sultanas. If you don't know what that is, it's like a raisin, just a different kind of dried grape. For whatever reason, I put sultanas into a fermenter of stout. The fermentation went off and clogged the airlock, causing it to explode. The fermenter filling my firm fridge with wort. So sad. Yeah, shit happens. What can we learn from that one? Well, I've always been afraid that I would have, when I started fermenting, that I would have those like massive fermentation. I do had that once under pressure for, I don't know what reason, what happens, but actually I woke up in the night because for a reason we're not gonna go into right now. I woke up in the night, I was sleeping in my living room, and I had beer fermenting in the kitchen under pressure, and it was just going nuts, and it was like squirting foam from the spinning valve. It was of course full up with foam. I never had a fermenter blow up on me, thanks God, and I never had a lid blow off either, but I did have excessive foaming coming out of the airlock several times. So I've cleaned those up and sanitized and changed those on and on again, and a lot of cleaning. Sultanas in the in the airlock. Maybe we shouldn't add stuff at the beginning, right? Can we learn from that? Massive fermentation would be at start, so maybe we shouldn't add stuff in the beginning like you did here. Let's jump on to number 2. Rafael Pestano. My mistakes, and here's several of them. Forget the grain basket and add the grains directly to the brew kettle. I never done that, but I had been close to doing that. Add priming sugar to an unfinished beer while bottling. You know the results, so please take the hydrometer samples. Yes, and I talked about that in one of my brewing mistakes videos also, when fermenting beer with fruit in them, because it can be really like slow. So you should really know that you have a stable value, so you reach the final gravity before you add your priming sugar and bottle. And his third mistake he's sharing, heating the Erlenmeyer flask directly into the stove without putting the DME in water. Yeah, it will break because it's heat resistant, but not heat proof, so always add the water plus DME before putting the flask in the stove. I also broke one of my Erlenmeyer flasks by putting it on hot straight onto the snow at winter time, and so that wasn't a good idea either. But yeah, you should always put water in before heating up your Erlenmeyer flask. Nice! Thanks for sharing, and cheers, Doc. Thanks, Rafael. Do keep on commenting with your mistakes so we can keep this series up. I have done a lot of mistakes, so I will keep on posting mine also. If you want even more bad content like this one, I do have Patreon and channel membership, or just buy me a beer. All links down below. Let's jump on to number 3. Mistake number 3 from Jonas. Used a kit with a suck start siphon to bottle, infected a whole batch. Actually, using any kind of siphon when it can be avoided counts as a mistake in my book. I'm totally with you. I used one of those also. You need to suck at the beginning, but yeah, I didn't have any issues, but it's not a good idea. And as you say, I don't use siphons at all, because I try to keep oxygen out of my finished beer, so I prefer using a tap if I have a bucket, or I mostly ferment under pressure, but I don't use siphons. And if you're finding values in this video and thinking about subscribing, maybe don't. My channel sucks and you will only encourage me to put out more bad content like this one if you subscribe. But yeah, you can drop a like if you want. Number 4 from Tiff Heffernan. Sorry for destroying everyone's name, but it is what it is. I was draining yeast from a conical under pressure and the yeast cake seemed to have plugged the bottom port. Don't look away with only a tiny bit of yeast slurring coming out. Then all at once I had yeast slurry explosion. Yeast slurry was everywhere. What a mess. Yes. Yeah, you have enormous amount of pressure. We still have a lot of pressure in there, and you might think that you clogged up the port, and yeah, don't keep your eyes off it. Can you say that? Now you can. Let's jump on to number 5. Number 5 from Inferior Quality. Love your name. Nice one, Doc. My worst mistake was probably cooling water overflowing into the kettle. I chill my water in the bathtub with the kettle in cold water and with a spiral. Unfortunately, the hose that was connected to the spiral was leaking, so while it was cold in the water level was rising, and when I got there the kettle was a submarine. Yeah. I actually had a leaking hose attached to the coil once, and I'm chilling with seawater, so it started spraying down into the water I was chilling. So what I did was that I tightened up the hose clamp, checked it so it wasn't squirting anymore, and then I took up the temperature of the wort up to pasteurizing temperature again, and then I cooled it down. But in your case, that wouldn't help you, because you had your whole bathtub of diluted wort. Thank you so much for watching, and see you in the next one. Dr. Hans out. Now, go and watch this video. Or that one.